Hello everyone, this is Helbo, and today we're here for a video about the one and only Calcharo. Calcharo is a huge main DPS that is considered to be one of the best DPS in the game. He's going to be having massive damage output during his Resonance Liberation, and he's actually not that hard to play. His kit is pretty straightforward, you just need to understand him. So without any further ado, let's just get into it. So let's get into Calcharo's kit. Essentially, you're going to be doing a 4-hit combo with his auto attack. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, and 4, just like so, with the final explosion. Then for his resonance skill, is going to be in 3 hits. You're first going to do 1, 2, and 3. Every time you're going to hit the enemy with 1 E, you're going to be feeling 1 gauge of his Forte ability. Whenever you have all 3 Forte gauge ready, you're going to be able to release it by holding left click, so doing a heavy attack. The heavy attack of Calcharo has a cancel mechanic that I will be showing you later in the video. But for now, let's just do the regular heavy attack. It's gonna do that, and then he slams onto the floor. Now for Calcharo's ultimate, he's essentially going to be going in his ultimate phase. So we'll just activate it, and now the gauge here going to be different. It's not going to be with the skill, but with each auto attack that you're doing. Whenever you have 4 gauge ready, you're going to hold left click for the heavy attack and release the damage you've gained with the 4 gauge. Now, I was talking to you about a cancel mechanism that you can have with Calcharo's heavy attack for his Forte circuit. So let's first get all 3 gauge ready. 1, 2, and 3. There we go. Now, the outro skill is ready, as you can see for my other characters. So I am going to hold the left click for the heavy attack, and then I am going to switch into Yunjin. As you're going to see, Calcharo, when I'm going to switch, is still going to be doing his attack. Let's demonstrate. And I'm switching, and he's still attacking, slamming onto the floor. This is what we call a cancel. It is a cancel because we're not staying for the entirety of the attack, and we're switching onto another character while the previous character we just switched out is still going to be performing his attack. Now let's go over how you're going to want to build your Calcharo. So essentially for the weapon, his first 2 best in slot is going to be Verdant Summit, which is Jian's signature weapon. It is going to be increasing the bonus damage of the resonance attributes by 12%. Calcharo is not really going to be beneficiating a lot from the heavy attack bonus damage, since you're not really using a lot of heavy attack during Calcharo Resonance Liberation. But despite all this, just because of this, it is still a really good weapon to use for Calcharo. Now another weapon you can use, which is the first best in slot as a 4-star weapon, is going to be Autumn Trace, which is the battle pass weapon. It is going to have a crit rate substat, and it is going to increase the attack by 6.2% upon dealing basic attack damage or heavy attack damage, stacking up to 5 times. It lasts 7 seconds, and it can be triggered 1 time every 1 second. This is a very good option for Calcharo. It is more of a dolphin option because you still have to pay the battle pass for this, but it is still a really good option regardless. As a more free-to-play option you can go for is going to be the Helios Cleaver. It has an attack percentage as a substat, and within 12 seconds after resonance skill is cast, increases the attack by 3% every 2 seconds, stacking up to 4 times. This effect can be triggered 1 time every 12 seconds, and when the number of stacks reaches 4, all stacks will be reset within 6 seconds. This is a good option for Calcharo. Not the best, but regardless, it is still a good option. If you do not have the Autumn Trace, feel free to just go for that one. And the most free-to-play option you're going to find is the Guardian Broad Blade. This weapon you can craft in Jinzu. You can go at the crafting table and craft this weapon. It increases the basic attack damage and heavy attack damage by 12% with an attack percentage as a substat. This is by far not the best option, but it is going to be the most free-to-play one in case you do not have any of the weapons we just talked about. Now for the echoes, the Sonata effect you want to go for is Void Thunder. It is going to increase your electro damage, and upon using heavy attack or resonance skill, the electro damage is again going to be increased. Now for the forecast, you're actually going to have 2 options. Let's go over them. The first option is going to be the Tempest Mephis. just like the one I have equipped. It is going to, after the claw hits the target, it increases the current character's electro damage by 12% and heavy attack damage by 12% for 15 seconds. This is a really good option in case you did not drop a good Thundering Mephis for your Calcharo, but technically it depends how you view it, but the Thundering Mephis is going to be better overall because it has the same 12% increase on the electro damage, but it increases the resonance liberation damage by 12%, while the Tempest Mephis is the heavy attack, which you do not really use with Calcharo. For the main stat you're gonna go for is essentially going to be crit rate or crit damage. As you can see, I went for a crit rate. I do prefer crit rate at the beginning, but if you prefer to go for crit damage, feel free to do so. The 2-3 costs you're gonna go for are going to be electro damage bonus. For the substats you want to aim to, as well as for the 4 cost, it is going to be, if you can, energy regeneration up to 15 to 35%, and then you're essentially going to be targeting crit rate, crit damage, attack percentage, liberation damage bonus, and that's about it for the substat. The last 2 1 cost, you're gonna go for some attack percentage. As you can see, mine are not really high level because I am completely running out of tuners, but my Calcharo was still doing some pretty good damage, so it is still good to keep that. One thing you're going to want to increase first on Calcharo is going to be his Forte circuit. You're gonna want to go for this because when casting heavy attack Mercy, Calcharo's resonance liberation damage bonus is increased by 10% for 15 seconds. For Calcharo's sequence, the first one is not really the best. Hits the target, it additionally recovers 10 resonance energy. This can be triggered once every 20 seconds. It's not really going to do a huge difference, so if you have it, sure, why not, but otherwise it's not really that big of a deal. The second one is after Calcharo casts intro skill, wanted criminal, or intro skill necessary means, his resonance skill damage bonus is increased by 30% for 15 seconds. This is already going to be way more interesting as a sequence. This one can be good as a dolphin if you do want to spend a little bit more for your Calcharo and invest more into him, but the one you're essentially gonna want to go for the most is probably going to be the S3. During the Resonance Liberation Death Blade Gear state, Calcharo's electro damage bonus is increased by 25%. This is going to be boosting your damage output by a lot, so this is the bare minimum you're gonna want to invest on your Calcharo if you do want to invest. Keep in mind that getting the sequences for your characters are really not mandatory. Calcharo is going to be working perfectly fine as an S0 character. Now for Calcharo's team, you have a few options. Calcharo's best team is going to be with a character that is not yet to release but will be releasing in 4 days. If you do not know about that, you can go and watch my last video that I released that is essentially taking back what Kuro Games just announced. But if you do know about it, then Yinlin is releasing on the 6th of June, so really soon now, and Yinlin is essentially going to be the best sub DPS for Calcharo. But in the meantime, what you can use is actually Yanjin. Yanjin is going to be buffing the resonance liberation damage with her outro skill, and Calcharo's damage are essentially going to be dealt when he is under his ultimate, so boosting that is going to be applying a lot more damage from Calcharo. Another team you can use for Calcharo is essentially still Calcharo with Verena, but you also add Sanhua. Sanhua is going to be buffing the auto attack of Calcharo, so this is going to be also very good for Calcharo. During his ultimate, you're going to be doing more auto attack than using your skill, so this is going to be buffing everything all together. You now know how to build and in which team you can play your Calcharo, so let's go over the rotation you're going to be doing. If you're playing Yanshin or Sanhua, it's essentially going to be the same thing, so don't worry, you can do the same. Right, so whenever we have the Concerto energy ready, one thing you can do is use the cancel mechanism I showed you, and so you're essentially going to be triggering the heavy attack. Then you switch onto Verena, you also charge your Concerto energy. There we go. You use the Echo skill, you switch onto Yanshin, use your ultimate, not required but you can just do that. Then you use the Echo skill, you switch onto Calcharo, you do the ultimate Echo skill. Whenever the Echo skill is going to be reaching, it's going to be boosting the electro damage as well as the heavy attack. And there you go, Calcharo did tremendous amount of damage and the Crownless was just no match for him. That's about everything there is to say about Calcharo. He is a very strong main DPS that you can use for a lot of bosses, tactical holograms, or even in the Tower of Adversity. He is a very viable option if you do want to start the game and get him. He's going to be carrying you a lot in the game, so if you do want to start with him, feel free to do so. And if you do have him already but you're not using him, you might want to level him up. He's going to be carrying you for a lot of stuff. If you're interested in knowing more about Yinlin, there's a video that is going to be releasing tomorrow about Yinlin. I'm going to be talking about if you should pull for her or not, and what benefits you might be getting by pulling for her, in which team you can use her, and if she's actually going to be useful for you. We're now at the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, that it was useful for you and helping you build your Calcharo. If you like the video, feel free to leave a like and subscribe. You can also find all my social media in the description. And until then, I'll see you guys to the next one. Bye bye.